What are those two properties? One is it contaminates you. So by anger, what happens that you lose yourself. We have studied in Bhagavad Gita what is the impact of krodha, how it comes. First of all, how it generates. It generates because of our desires, of our desire is nothing but kam ichcha. Because of kam, if kam doesn't get fulfilled, your desire doesn't get fulfilled, what happened? You get anger. You get angry. And what does that anger does? It bewilders you. It takes away your intelligence. And once it takes away your intelligence, when that intelligence goes away, the impact is what? You lose yourself. You lose whatever you have. In Bhagavad Gita itself, it is said that there are 3 gates of hell. What is that? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Desires,
lust, anger, and greed.
Lust, anger, and greed. Yes. Lust, anger, and greed are 3 gateways of hell. Though all 3 happen together, all 3, it is not so that Kama happens separately, Krodha happens separately, and Lobha happens separately. All 3 happens together. Can anybody tell any instance where you see all the 3 aspects? Any example, if you remember, if you recall, where all 3 things you are seeing in one example? Shukra Prabhu, you are on mute, I suppose. Or are you talking to someone?
Vishwamitra Prabhuji did.
What did Vishwamitra did?
Prabhuji, he was in tapasya. So when Indra sent an apsara, so first time he was lured by the
right.
apsara.
So Kama was there, yes. What aspect
lust was
is
there?
Yes, lust was there. What about Krodha? Where did you saw that Krodha aspect coming out of it?
Prabhuji, it was not. It didn't came at that time. After some times back, बाद में
He
Prabhuji
realized that. He realized that.
Prabhuji.
Okay, good, good. So this is one example. I'll tell you another example from Ramayana. And you all must certainly have heard that example. This is an example of Gautam Rishi. Gautam Rishi, Ahilya Mata, and Indra. This is that instance wherein Gautam Rishi left his place and he went outside. And Indra came in a disguised way to Ahilya. Have you heard that story? Everybody knows that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right. So what was the instance there? Indra was greedy, right? He was greedy. He wanted to have his desires fulfilled. He was in a lobe, and that's why he went in a disguised way in front of he took the disguised way shape of Gautam Rishi, right? But from the what do you call from the powers, mystic powers which Ahilya Mata was having, she could understand that the gentleman who is standing in front of her is certainly not Gautam Rishi. She could understand that he is none other than Indra. But because she had that lust in her, so she allowed Indra associating with her. And when Gautam Rishi came back and saw Indra coming out, what happened? That Gautam Rishi got angry. And what was the outcome? What was the outcome of all this? So Gautam Rishi, because, yeah, Mataji, please, you can tell.
Gautam Rishi cursed Ahalya Mataji to be
That is
stoned.
okay. I'm asking about what was the influence on each of them because of these three things. So even Gautam Rishi, because he got angry and he cursed, what happened? He lost all his knowledge which he was having. Are you aware of it? So Gautam Rishi's all intelligence, all knowledge went away because of that anger. Indra, we all know what happened to Indra. He was cursed by Gautam Rishi that his full body will be full of yonis. Right? So he was cursed and he lost his kingdom. And Ahilyabai, we know what she turned into, a stone. So what is the effect of these three happening together? That the person who is engaged either in lust, anger, and greed, if they are empowered by them, then they lose whatever they have. So this is one of the biggest learning which we should understand. So that is the contamination aspect of Krodha. What is the contagious aspect of Krodha? What happens when a person gets angry? Have you ever seen? Okay, let's take a practical example in our daily life. When we get angry with somebody, what happens?
Other person also.
Yes, other person also reacts, right? When we shout on somebody, somebody also shouts on us. And if he couldn't shout on us, if he couldn't shout, if I'm shouting on somebody, for example, my wife, and if she couldn't react that way, what will happen? What will she do? She will certainly get angry. What will she do? She will
show that to children.
Yes, she will show that to children or anybody else in the family, to maid or anybody else. And then what will happen? If children are shouted on, what do children do? They will also do the same thing. Either they revert back or they will pass that anger somewhere else. Right? So it is contagious as well. So it passes from one person to another. Right? This is a daily routine life example. Can anybody tell the example from the chapter we are reading? What has happened in the beginning? Anybody remembers?
Cursing, counter cursing.
Exactly, Prabhu. Very right. So what happened? When Daksha entered the place where Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and other demigods and sages were sitting, and Lord Daksha, because he was proud of his being Prajapati, what happened? He wanted everybody to respect him. He wanted that for himself, that respect for himself. But Shiva and Lord Brahma both didn't stood up. So Brahma, because he comes from that family itself, so he didn't reacted to it, but he didn't like Shiva not paying obeisances to him. And what he did? He started blaspheming him. And when he was representing that anger, what came across? Nandishwar got angry. What happened after that? Bhragu Muni. Yeah, Bhragu Muni reacted. He also got angry. And that anger never stopped, right? It is still continuing. And we are seeing that it has now come to Sati and Sati is reacting. So this is again a contagious effect. So anger is always contagious. Anger is always contaminating. So from material angle, whenever we see.
Prabhu, I missed it. Can you just tell where all it got contagious? Just for, can you recap?
So yeah, sure, Prabhu. So contagious means it passes from one person to another. For example, if I shout on my wife either will shout back on me, and if she can't shout on me, she will certainly pass that to anybody else in the family. Maybe maid, maybe children, maybe anybody else. And what will happen? If she will shout on the children, children will somewhere else take it out, right? And so on. It passes. It never stops. So anger is not stopping. It is continuing. So this example is coming from our daily life. But even in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are seeing that what happened. Daksha blasphemed Lord Shiva because he wanted Lord Shiva to pay obeisances, but he didn't pay the obeisances. So he didn't like that, and he started blaspheming Lord Shiva. What happened? Nandishwar came into picture. He got angry and he started cursing. And then counter cursing happened from Bhrigu. So see, this started rolling out. So that is what the anger is. So one is contaminates, another is contagious.
Contagious.
Right? So anger is contagious and anger is contaminating. But is it so that one should not get angry?
You should get
We
angry.
see by example. We see by example of the two Anshas of Lord Shiva himself. One is Hanumanji, and other example is Durvasha Rishi. Hanuman also got angry. When he got angry? When he went to Lanka. Yes, when he went to Lanka and he burned the entire Lanka. So he was trying to serve Lord Rama, and that's where he presented his anger. What was the other case? Durvasa Muni. Where did Durvasa got angry?
On Ambrish Maharaj.
Ambrish Maharaj. And what was the reaction? What happened? There Lord Rama didn't say that you did a wrong thing. He was praised. He is still praised for what he did. But what happened to Durvasa Muni?
Sudarshana Chakra was sent.
Sudarshana Chakra was sent by Lord Vishnu. So see, the same Lord Shiva, whose two Amshas are Hanuman and Durvasa Muni.
Sudarshan Chakra was not sent by Vishnu. Actually, I read it. Actually, he was
It went automatically.
Devotee. No, Prabhu. To the great devotee, Krishna has told that he'll be encircling, pure devotee will be encircling. So
you are right, Prabhu. You are 100% right.
So,
and that
on
is
its own it went. Yeah.
In Chaitanya Bhagavat also this instance comes.
Yeah.
That
Maharaj said.
Yes, Maharaj said. Exactly. Maharaj said, right? That's why I also remember that from there. That even I asked this question to Maharaj that you elaborate this, and then he told the entire story. So, yes, you're right. That a pure devotee is always protected by Lord. So this anger of Durvasha Muni got this reaction.
And another thing also Prabhupada wrote, he wanted to test. Actually, Ambrish was not knowing that Sudarshan Chakra is with him. तो भगवान ने उनको सिखाने के लिए ये पूरा दुर्वासा का लीला किया, so that he knows that Sudarshan has just come.
Right. Very true, Prabhu. So we see that there are different modes of anger, and it is said that we should see that when we should get angry, on whom we are getting angry, and at what time we are getting angry. Before getting angry, we must certainly think over it. See, many motivating speakers generally tell you that you should have self-respect for you, right? What happens? We get angry when we see that somebody is not respecting me. Blaspheming me is what? If somebody says something bad about me, I will not tolerate and I will be angry on him. So it is hurting my self-respect. But do we understand what self is? We understand what self-respect is, but are we understanding what self is? Swabhiman, huh? Do we understand what swa is? We know what is abhiman, But do we understand what swa is, what self is? So it is very important for us to understand who we are. And when we understand who we are, the real sense of ourselves, our existence, an Atma form of us, a Das form of us, then certainly Trinadapi Sunichena Taruriva Sahishna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Till we don't understand this, shloka will not come into picture. This understanding will never be there. See, everything is temporary in this world. Situation is temporary. Blaspheming is temporary. Even anger is temporary. Right? But the outcomes can lead to disasters. We hear many stories, like short story I'm taking from Panchatattva. And you all must have heard in your earlier days, in your young days, you must have read this, that there was a mother with a child and she had what do you call neola in English? I don't remember. Chameleon? No, not chameleon.
Mongoose.
Mongoose, yes. Mongoose, right. Thank you, Mataji. So she was having a mongoose in her house to take care. So that mongoose was protecting the child from any type of snakes or any such thing coming across. And she was just keeping that mongoose as a pet in her family. So one day what happened? That the mother went out leaving the child, and she told mongoose, or in some way, that mongoose should protect the child. And unfortunately, what happened, that a snake came inside the house, and as he was going to bite the child, that mongoose protected immediately came there and just he stopped that snake and even killed that snake. And the blood of that snake was oozing out, and that blood was all over the mongoose mouth, right? And that mongoose came out, and he was like at the door itself. And as soon as the mother came and she saw that blood in the mouth of mongoose, without thinking anything, without seeing inside what happened, she immediately reacted. She thought that this mongoose has killed my child, and in anger she immediately killed that mongoose as well. But when she went inside, what happened? She saw that the snake was lying there dead, and the child was just playing. She was laughing. But the outcome had already come. So the mongoose was dead and she was repenting, but nothing happens after that. So it is very important to understand that when we have to react, how we have to react. We have to think before reacting. So the anger is good, but we have to think before showing that anger. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in this canto itself, we will read at a later stage. There's one more story which comes wherein when Prathu Maharaj was born, when he was born, he was praised and by many sages and all, and they all knew that he is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is an avatar. And when Prathu Maharaj was given the throne, he was enthroned as king of the kingdom. What was the situation at that time? There was hunger all over. There was drain. It was a completely drought. No grains were growing in the entire kingdom. And everybody came to this pious King Prathu Maharaj. And they all requested that we are living as per the Shastra guidelines. We have read in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, there comes the Yagya Chakra. I think you all must have read about Yagya Chakra, right? That what happens, that we have to offer to Lord, right? And for that, when we follow the rules and the regulations, the rain pours, and because of that rain, the grains come across, and that grain is again offered to Lord. So this is the chakra which is there, right? And everybody was just saying that we are following every norm as per Shastras, as per Dharma. But still, Prithvi, the Mother Earth, is not delivering the grains, and we are dying because of hunger. So Prathu Maharaj didn't reacted immediately. He was thinking, he thought that what he should do, whether the people, whatever they are saying is correct or not. And then he saw, and then he checked, and he realized that whatever those people have come and said and complained is exactly right. People are living a life of dharma. They are following all rules and regulations, all norms as per Vedic scriptures. But still, Mother Earth was not fulfilling their requirement, which is Mother Earth's responsibility. And then Prathu Maharaj showed his anger. He took his bow and he aimed at Mother Earth. And Mother Earth, just because of fear, appeared. And she said that, no, please don't kill me. You are the one who has saved me once. Now, why are you killing me? So that same Mother Earth was saved by Varaha Bhagwan. So Mother Earth here is saying that, why are you killing me? At one point in time, you have saved me, but at the same time, now you are killing me. What will happen to the people all around who are living here? Prathu Maharaj said, I don't need you. Because of my powers, I can make them live anywhere. It is not needed that I need a Prithvi for my own people to stay. So that was because he was himself an avatar of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So before reacting, what he did, he thought, he checked what is happening on ground. And after that, he showed his anger. We'll study about it in few days to come. So that is how a devotee should act. So Prathu Maharaj is showing by his example that an anger can be shown, but how that anger can be shown. And when that anger should be shown. So one is how to show that anger. Another is when should you get angry. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Lord Chaitanya went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house on his invitation, he was blasphemed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's son-in-law, Amoga. But did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reacted? Though we saw that how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got angry, he ran with the stick, he wanted to kill him, he cursed him that my daughter should become a widow or whatever, that is all okay. So that was the limit of anger which Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya showed. But did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his anger? No. Why? Because that blasphemy was for himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being blasphemed by somebody else, but he didn't consider that as a cause of anger. At the same time, we see that as Jagai and Madhai, when Jagai and Madhai were being preached by Lord Nityananda, Madhai threw a stone on Nityananda. And as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got that news, he ran immediately and he just took out his Sudarshan Chakra. He showed his anger. Why? Because
he didn't throw stone. He stole that bottle only. He hit with that bottle.
Yeah, whatever. But something which hurted Lord Nityananda. Yeah, and he started bleeding. Nityananda didn't reacted. Nityananda Prabhu didn't reacted. But Lord Chaitanya immediately reacted because that was his own devotee got hurted. We see from another example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got angry once more. He showed his anger. Can you tell any example where he showed his anger? Do you remember any example other where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown his anger?
In Sri,
Haribol, very
Sriva,
good Mataji, Anita
yeah.
Mataji. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as soon as when he heard that Chandkaji is not allowing them to do kirtan, perform kirtan, that was the day when Sankirtan movement started. The on-road Sankirtan movement started. Before that, all Sankirtan were being done inside the house. But when Chandkaji reacted that it should not happen, that nobody should use kartal and mridangas and no sound should come and they should not do this kirtan. What happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his anger and he invited everyone and they all went with mashal to Chandakaji's house in the mid of the night. And we all know that how Chandkaji got scared and what was the reaction with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He forcefully entered into a house. He called him, and that reaction and the story which Chandkaji told, we all know that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that anger because it was a blaspheming of the Sankirtan. So one should know when the anger should be shown. In this reference where we are reading this entire chapter in this canto itself, fourth canto, we see that Shiva was blasphemed by Daksha. But what did Shiva did? We see that Nandishwara getting angry. We see that Bhragu Muni getting angry. But the one who was blasphemed, did he reacted? Not at all. He was completely calm, peaceful. He didn't even paid any attention to whatever Daksha was saying. He is truly representing the example of tolerance. Trinadapi sunichena tarur eva saishna. Amanina manadena kirataniya sadahari. Another example comes of Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami went to Maharaj Janak's kingdom. And when he went there, that information that he is outside, so that information reached Lord Janak, Maharaj Janak after a long time. And it took 3 days for Maharaj Janak to come outside to welcome Sukadeva Goswami. Had it been Durvasa Muni, had it been any other person, what would have been the reaction? Immediately the curse would have been given, or somebody would have, any sage or anybody would have certainly said, what type of king you are, you don't care, and I'm such a big sage and you haven't respected me, you haven't welcomed me. But nothing of this sort happened. Sukadeva Goswami was welcomed after 3 days, and despite of that, he didn't utter a single word. He went along
The very
with
this Bhagavatam starts like this, no, Prabhuji? Parikshit Maharaj getting angry with the sage.
right.
Some
Exactly. Shringi Rishi and his son. You're talking about that, Mataji, right?
Shamik,
yes, Prabhuji, the cause
Shamik and
of,
Shringi.
yeah, Shamik
yeah,
and Shamik.
Samik Rishi. He is getting angry with Samik Rishi because of the thirst. He is not welcome proper by the Rishi.
Yeah.
So that's
So
how the
that, yeah. So that is something different. That's a different example, and that's not something which can be put as a reference here, because the influence why Parikshit Maharaj did that was completely different. It was because of Lord's will that He wanted all of us to get this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam. If we are sitting today and discussing all that, it is because of this, that instance. Had Parikshit Maharaj wouldn't have done that, certainly, I don't know whether we would have got this Srimad Bhagavatam here or not. So, but that's another reference, that but it cannot be correlated to the anger which we're talking about. But yes, a good example is that after this mistake, he repented and he didn't reacted to Shringi's curse. He would have done that. He was having this power. He would have reverted back that curse and nothing would have happened. But that was his level of tolerance. He knew that he has done mistake, and then when he was cursed, he didn't reacted back. He just surrendered completely. There are so many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. What to talk about? See, there was another example which comes that, two examples of the same. This I will tell you. Devyani and Sharmisha. You all know, right? So Sharmisha was a daughter of a king. Devyani was daughter of Shukracharya, of a Brahmana. But they were good friends and they went to have a bath. But after taking the bath, what happened? That Devyani took the clothes of Sharmishta and wore it. And as soon as Sharmishta saw Devyani wearing those clothes, she immediately got angry and cursed her. Despite of being such a close friend, such a close relationship among themselves, she was cursed. And she said, like that curse happened, and obviously after that Devyani realized and things move ahead. But at the same time, another story of the same thing comes that there was a disciple of Shukracharya by the name of Kach. Devyani started loving Kach. She fell in love with Kach, who was a disciple of Shukracharya. And when Kach got to know about it, Kach said that you are daughter of my Guru. I cannot accept you as my wife. And when Devyani's desire didn't got completed of marrying Kach, what happened? Devyani cursed Kach, saying that you will not get the benefit of the knowledge which you have learned from my father. Whenever you will need that knowledge, you will never remember, you will not remember at the right time. So that was the curse which Devyani gave to Kach. Hearing that, what happened? Kach also didn't stop. Kach also cursed back. And she said that you will never get a Brahmana husband. And that's why we see that at later stage, Devyani got married to Yayati, who was a Kshatriya. So the curses, right? One has to see that anger, how this anger comes across, when we have to show our anger, whom we have to show anger, and at what time we have to show anger. All three things are important. When Arjuna entered this Kurukshetra war, when he entered into Kurukshetra, he said that he is not going to fight. What was he meant to do at that time? To present his anger and to fight. But he said that he is not going to fight. And then what did Lord did? He just preached Bhagavad Gita and told him to show his anger and fight. So Lord is himself guiding here that you should show anger. But at what time, what place, and how is of immense importance. So here also we see that in this shloka where Sati Mata is showing her anger, Prabhupada is saying that this anger is not wrong. This is the duty of any devotee or duty of any follower, that she or he should react towards the insult if we observe, or any blaspheming which happens towards a devotee, towards Lord, or towards Lord's pure devotee. We must immediately represent that, and we should try to fight it back. But we should remember that this krodh, there's one more synonym which is used for krodh. And what is that synonym? Any synonym related to kama?
Is it lust you are saying, Prabhuji? Lust?
No. So there is another word which
Cope?
no, Mataji. Cope is okay, but I am saying in respect of calm, in respect of lust. You know how this anger arises? It is because of lust, right? So that's why krodh is also called as kamanuj.
Is it due to
Kamanuj.
the sense bodily identification? This anger is coming
So
Because
anger
of
comes because of lust.
because we are
because of
the
non-fulfillment of lust. Because of
Yeah.
non-fulfillment of lust.
sense
So,
gratification.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, right. So that is why krodh is also synonymous as kamanuj.
Kamanuj. Brother of Kama.
Yes, smaller brother, younger brother of kama. It is because of kam that anger comes across. So that's why it's called kamanuj. So we have to understand that when this kamanuj should come into action. So anger is good if it is engaged in spiritual activity, but it is bad if it is engaged in any material sense. So I'll just take a pause here. And if there's anything which you like to discuss or ask or suggest, it's all open here. Yeah, Suprabha Sumatra Mataji has read. Even Prabhuji, Garud didn't counter curse Sobari Muni. Very good example, Mataji. Very, very good example. Sobari Muni asked Garud not to enter into that area. And Garud, being a devotee, he didn't counter curse. He immediately followed and he went away. Though it was his full right to come there and eat those fishes. So very good example, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And Prabhuji.
Wonderful Prabhu, so many references, so many stories. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what is your reference for that? Sridhar Goswami went to Janakpuri to Janak Maharaj.
So Prabhuji, in one of the lectures I have heard that, and I think the story says that Shukadeva Goswami went to Janak Maharaj's kingdom.
It is after Bhagavatam, reciting Bhagavatam. Should be. Because it's right? Or before?
No, Prabhuji, it is before.
Before.
Lord
Okay.
Rama came before Lord Krishna.
Yeah, okay.
So it is before. Like to Sukadeva Goswami went to Maharaj Janak's kingdom, and Maharaj Janak didn't knew about it, or he got this information and he couldn't welcome that. So it took 3 complete days. After 3 days, as soon as Janak Maharaj got to know that, he immediately came running to serve and see if still Sukadeva Goswami is there. So Sukadeva Goswami, when at that time Sukadeva Goswami was certainly not this Akrishna Bhakta, but impersonalism. So that is how I feel. But Janak Maharaj, when he came and welcomed Sukadeva Goswami, he didn't reacted. He didn't said that why you didn't came early, or what was the reason. He never asked anything. He just politely went along with Maharaj Janak and just entered his kingdom. I don't know what was the purpose, but this was just a reference which I've heard of.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, was he also an impersonalist before? Because he was a born devotee, you know, he was a Supra. By hearing Bhagavatam,
No, he was an
he,
impersonalist. When he was
he was an
born,
impersonalist. When he was born, when he was an impersonalist. And that's why
okay.
as he came out from his
he
mother's
went to
womb after
forest,
16 years, he immediately left
forest.
naked for forest. But later when he heard from his father, then he became a devotee.
No, he heard from his father because father told two people to go and tell his chelas. They told Barha Pitam Nataro Apu Karrayo Ho Kadikaram Bibrad Basa Kanakabucham Vaidaintin Tamalam Randran Venu Adarasude Apore and Gopavinder Vrinda Aranyam Swapadaramnam Pravich the Gita Giti. He heard it and he said, I never knew that Krishna is having such beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Who
There
taught
are
you?
there are two shlokas which come in this
There are two
reference.
slokas.
Yeah. One is
And at the time they will tell your taught father only taught, then you'll come to his father. He never knew that his father is. What is the next sloka?
So Akobakyam, that is the 3 point.
Kobakyam.
Yeah.
That is
Akobakyam. Yeah.
that is that
Putana.
Putana.
Yes, Putanavad. Yes, exactly, Mataji. There are the two verses. When he heard those two verses, he became a devotee.
Okay, Prabhu, but before his birth only, he was hearing Bhagavatam, not from,
But still he was
Lord Shiva.
impersonalist when he was, but
That's
he
what,
was
that is
impersonalist.
what
But
You are right,
somehow he
Prabhu.
was
See,
impersonalist.
Prabhu, yes, you are right. See, actually, who was Shuka? He was himself a parrot of Radharani.
Radharani.
Yeah.
Parrot of Radharani, right?
So he has
So
heard
how
from
can
Radharani
parrot
also.
of Radharani be impersonalist?
That is my
But
question.
yeah, exactly. A very good question, Prabhu. But the Shastras say
He
that
was impersonal.
when he came, so how that conversion happened? See, how did this what do you call?
Mother slept and he was replying.
We
Lord Shiva
Andaru
was
he
narrating Bhagavatam and Mother Parvati slept and
yes,
Shuka
Prabhu, you're
was
right.
replying.
So
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
in a form when he was a parrot.
Correct.
He heard that in a form of a parrot, right?
Okay.
But
Okay.
when he entered into the womb of
Kayat. No.
Kayadu. No, not
Kayadu,
Kayadu.
yeah.
Vatika Mataji.
Vatika?
Vatika.
Okay. Kayatu is
Vatika is
Kayadu is
Kayadu
Hiranyakashipu's
is
yeah,
Hiranyakashipu.
Pralad's mother.
Vatika is
yeah.
Vedavyas wife is Vatika Mataji.
Yes. So when he
Vatika, correct,
entered
yeah.
into the womb of Vatika Mataji, and when he came out as an impersonalist.
Okay.
We see there are such examples in Shastras.
Will not have
In
answers.
Chaitanya Charitamrita we see that who was Radharani's father? Vrishbanu's.
Vishwabhanu.
So Vrishbhanu Maharaj's
Pundarik Maharaj.
Pundarik, yes, thank you, Mataji. Pundarik Maharaj, right? When Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he heard this Ahobakyam shloka and he got how he went into ecstasy, right? So the similar way we see that here, as soon as Shukadeva Goswami heard these two shlokas, one of the shlokas comes in the 10th chapter and another comes in the third canto. So 10th canto and third canto. So these are the two shlokas which I mentioned there. I can just drop down the shloka numbers also. I think I have mentioned somewhere, but I'm not finding in immediately in my notes. I will find it and I'll post that also. So these are the two shlokas which as soon as he heard those two shlokas, he immediately again. So that's how devotees turn into pure devotees. We see how Prakashanand Saraswati, similar thing, like as soon as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, he got converted. He realized. So impersonalist changing into devotees, there are many such examples which comes across. I'm not sure if I could reply to your questions, Prabhu, but
No,
I
thank
tried.
you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Just I was having
No, it's a
doubt
good
about-
question, Prabhu. We should just important things which we must remember and we should try to discuss. So very good, Prabhuji. Thank you.
you.
You brought this point.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hello, Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And Pranam.
During the course of discussion, you mentioned about self-respect. Is it not? When self-respect gets affected like that. So the self-respect, what you're meaning there, is it similar to ego or is it different from that?
He
So
told
when,
Atma.
so when you understand self, right? What is self-respect? It is ego. But when you understand self, then you understand respect also. But we don't understand self and we just go for self-respect, right? Then that self-respect is just an ego. But when you understand who you are, what is your real essence, then that ego doesn't exist, right? If somebody is blaspheming you, you will not
You're not
get
body.
disturbed. You will not get disturbed. See Lord Shiva, he was directly blasphemed in front of all the
Keeping quiet.
demigods, all the sages, everybody, and he was just carrying on. Daksha was carrying on, but he didn't react at all. Amoga, he said so many bad things about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that sannyasis do not eat so much and all those things. You are enjoying the delicious prasadam here and all those things, but he didn't react at all.
And next time when he ate 1/6 of what he was eating, he's telling,
Exactly.
you're showing off so much.
Uh.
So less you're eating. Keep your body and soul together. So much he told. And Mahaprabhu just kept quiet. He said, okay.
See example of Haridas Thakur. He was being beaten by people
22
in 22
marketplace.
markets. But then also he was showing a mercy to those who were beating him. So point is, till we don't understand what self is, we will not understand what self-respect is.
Yes.
Right? So that's why we always react because we don't understand the real essence of us. We think that I am this body and we get immediately hurted by anybody saying anything to us. And we
So it is
immediately
ego
react.
only. At
Yes,
that
it's
point,
ego.
it is ego.
Yes, exactly. You're right. It
False
is
ego.
ego. It's ego.
It's false ego. It's not the
तुमने
ego.
मेरे को कहा कैसे?
Prabhu, it is not ego, Vishnu, it's false ego.
False ego.
Ego.
Yes. Prabhu meant
The
that
real
only.
ego.
Prabhu
Actually,
meant that
real
only.
ego means we are servant of Krishna. That is the real
Exactly.
ego everybody should have.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. 100% right, Prabhu. Yes. You're right.
It's a falsely we are thinking that, which is not.
Very
We
true,
are
Prabhu.
Atma, but we are thinking body. That is a false ego.
That is the false.
We think designation, chartered accountant, cost accountant, engineer, kuch nahi hai. We are just servant. That we are just nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any questions? All Suprabha Mataji, Sumitra Mataji, and
Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam,
Yes,
Prabhuji, then what is the
Dandam.
meaning of the Hindi word Swabhiman, Atma Samman? Is it related to
Yes,
material body?
Swabhiman is self-respect. Hindi self-respect in Hindi is Swabhiman. Swa, then Abhiman.
so Abhiman.
Swa means self. Abhiman means respect. And that is the problem. We don't understand what Swa is. What I am not understanding that. But I want everybody to respect me, to pay. One should always give me man, honor.
So, Prabhuji, the word Atma Samman means what then?
So there are many words which can be used in the same context. Atma Samman is also this. See, Atma Samman is a different word in respect to Swabhiman. Right? Atma Samman clarifies that you are hurting my Atma, and you are hurting my Atma. Then that means that you are hurting my Lord. You are hurting my Guru. You are hurting somebody whom I am serving. If yes, that is happening, then certainly you have to react. But if somebody is saying something to you directly, which is not hurting your Lord, your Guru, or a devotee, then certainly it's okay. If you're saying that Ajit is the worst person in the earth, yeah, he might be. So what? He may be something else in next life. He may be something in else life. Ajit is certainly not Lord. Ajit is not certainly. But yes, if somebody is hurting, if I'm hurting directly, somebody whom I am related with. For example, if somebody is saying
But
something
somebody
bad
is,
about my father, right?
but
That
somebody
if I'm
says
telling
like that, but I can get angry for you.
somebody,
Yes.
Somebody says that Ajit Prabhu is this
yeah,
and that, I can
exactly.
get angry.
He can get angry.
Sorry, sorry, Hari Bol, Prabhu. I am not a devotee, Prabhu, please. So the point is that a very practical example, Mataji, that for example, if somebody says that, I say that I am so and so's son, and somebody says, oh, he was a thief. Would you like to listen that to that? Obviously not. You'll immediately react. How are you saying my father was a thief? Right? So it is not that you are a son of a thief. So that is also, that is, you are being blasphemed. But then who is being blasphemed directly is your father. So you have to react to it. Otherwise, what is happening, that you're accepting that. So that is not an Atma Samman.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. And
Thank you.
Prabhuji, sometimes people says that ये मेरी dignity की बात है. So what about that?
Mataji, this all comes, dignity, integrity, and all those things.
Dignity,
Yeah, comes in that. See, as far as it is
integrity.
ego, as far as it is your false ego, then certainly it's a challenge. If it is not your false ego, it is for serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for Krishna consciousness, then certainly things are a different order. So we have to see that where it is getting related to.
That's what
Dignity,
Prabhupada said when the
integrity.
world. That's what Prabhupada said when the World War was happening. Prabhupada said, "What is your take on that?" He said, "A group of countries decided to say that
Yes.
we can
Save.
do sense gratification this way. The other
Yeah.
group of people say that we can do sense gratification the other way. There is a fight. Nothing else."
Jai. So good discussion today. Huh?
Every day, Prabhu.
Yes. Every day is a big katha, whether people are there or not. No, a lot of new devotees are coming. See every day.
Yeah, extremely sorry, Prabhu. I am unable to attend. I'm
No, I am
very,
calling
very
for my
sorry,
group.
Prabhu.
In
No,
my
I know,
group,
I
there
know,
are,
Prabhu. But I am telling about myself. I am seeing that I am
you are
not
so
regular at
busy,
all.
Prabhu. You are so busy. I know you are so
I'll not
busy.
say I am busy, but I am getting careless these days. That is the biggest thing which I need to improve upon. Just bless me so that I can be back on track, Prabhu.
Prabhu,